Hi guys in live, how you guys doing? So I just want to do some bed rant. Um, just rant a little bit. Um, First of all, thanks to Sir John, and he comments. First, before I mention that particular comments, I have a theory about haters versus people that actually give me, you know, the benefit of the doubt and good, good comments and comments that actually support me. I have a theory that the haters only talk to each other more than to me, because I don't really read the hate anymore. I just pass it by. But they talk to each other. But the people that support me, like Sir John, I actually do read. So there's a weird dynamic there. Like if you're supporting me, you're more likely to get a hold of me than if you hate me. You're just going to get a hold of the other haters. But whatever, maybe that's what you want. But Sir John said something about my little amp, which I paid $26 for at Bertrand's, being as good or better as my big amp. So I'm using it now. In fact, I had to do 3 takes 2, 3, and 4 of I Saw Satan, so that I could get one where I could actually hear the guitar and my vocals, because a lot of them the mic was the amp was too close to the phone, and you could only hear the guitar and not my vocals. So I'm just playing with that, learning how to do it. But thanks for the advice, Sir John. You even said I could use a pedal, and in fact, I used the Radarator on those 3 takes. On takes 2, 3, and 4 of I Saw Satan, I used the Radarator too, and the little amp. So there's that. Cool. What else? So I do like the song "I Serve Satan." There'll be 5 songs now that I'm going to bring to the table for the studio recordings with the moderator and my friend that owns the studio. Right. First of all, there's I Hate Iran. There's Blunder to Wonder. There's Dog in Heaven. There's I Saw Satan, and then there's even a newer song called I Ain't No AGI. I just wrote that one tonight, and I wrote I Saw Satan over the last couple days, I guess. Yeah, I like, ever since I made the breakthrough of realizing that I have a good chord ear, therefore that gave me permission to myself to play rhythm guitar, which kind of upgraded me a little bit from being just a shredder to an artist or a musician. I have more confidence in my songwriting because I believe I have a good chord ear, and I'm allowing myself to play rhythm guitar more. So I just write the lyrics like I did with I Saw Satan, and then the lyrics to I Ain't No AGI, and then I just go in there and I work out chords for it. The leads are cool, but I usually wait till they're usually the last to get written. In fact, the ones to I Ain't No AGI, I got the lead right now in my head. I know what progression I want to do with the leads, but I had no idea when I actually did the recording that's on there. I just made it up at the time and I winged it, but now I know, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this, but that take is already gone. But when I go in the studio, I'll know that and I'll have it ready. And I learn, so I improvise the leads, but I play a certain key and mode progression, so I know how to structure the improvisations. But in that take that I did of I Ain't No AGI, I didn't even have that. I just went into the lead cold and then just said, oh, okay. Oh, now I know what to do after the fact. Anyway, that's 5 songs now. That's as much as I want to have. We're only going to have 4 or 5 hours in the studio, so that's an hour per song about. So that I don't want any more songs than that. That's enough pressure. That's enough compactness into the session. So that's cool. So it's I Hate Iran, Dog in Heaven, Blunder to Wonder, I Saw Satan, and I Ain't No AGI. So, and I'm also ready with a new technique called hammer-ons from nowhere, or I actually call it left-hand tapping as opposed to right-hand tapping. And actually armed with a new confidence in my rhythm playing too, which totally changes my songwriting game. So cool things happening there. When the matter is going to get the studio actually ready to record, God only knows. No, God doesn't know because there's no God. But who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. The universe knows. I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm ready when he is. Until then, I just do my stuff, you know. So I'm very happy with the new amp, the little amp, and you use the graduator into it. And then my asshole neighbor can't complain as much because I'm not as loud. He can't bang on my window, which I know he loves to do and can't wait to do again. So he can next corner me again and you know, do his, you know, play his mind games, or maybe actually hit me. I don't know, who knows. But shucks, he can't, because I solved the equation and now I have a solution that doesn't allow him that ecstasy he loves, because he's a wacko. How about that? Whatever, enough about that. Anyway. What else? I'm Aspie. That means I sometimes I don't have common sense, but I'm not dumb, and I am somewhat empathic, and I've got some vibes from people I meet, certain people that are from the old Mormon church I used to go to, churches or church, whatever you call it, and I read them, and I read them today. And they're yanking my chain. They want me to. The one guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he's one of two or three that I've met recently that say, "Oh, you're welcome back to come to church." And this last guy blew it though, because I could tell, even though I'm Aspie, I could tell that he was trying to act like something he didn't mean. And when he said "I'm welcome," I could tell just he was trying to act that way, but he didn't really mean it. So I played it like, I'm going to come to church tomorrow. Maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I did for a minute, but then I realized, no, he's playing me, and I'm not going to go to church. First of all, I sense the deception there. They just want to, they want me to come on their property, and I'm not supposed to. And so there's that. And I have no reason to go to church because I don't serve Jesus. And I kept my Book of Mormon up to now. I may throw it away now. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. I may keep it. I may not. But yeah, he blew it. Yeah, he was kind of trying to act like I was accepted, but I could tell he was trying to act that way rather than sincerely that way. And the other two, I was just beginning to see, but it took three of them to figure it out. So no, I'm not going to church tomorrow. Nice try. I'd have to get dressed in long pants and button up my shirt and all that, only to go on someone's property where I'm not welcome. And they even tried to get me to do that by bluffing me or faking like that's okay, and they want me to, you know. Okay, nice try, but fail. You know, whatever. I have no reason to go to church anyway. I keep my mind open and I go with the flow, but not when someone's trying to yank my chain and you know, I like that. I don't have to go with that. I can be discerning. I don't have to go with every single thing and not regard the nefariousness of the situation. There's that too. I analyze that. Oh, I know. I want to say something. I ran into a fan that had a skateboard today, and he filmed me on a skateboard. So that might be going around. I don't know. But I did a couple skateboard maneuvers. Didn't fall. So there's that, but he recorded a little bit of it. It might be out there. So check it out if you like. Maybe I'll see it. I don't know. Maybe I'll see my on me on a skateboard. I used to be pretty good. I wasn't the greatest. I wasn't like pro, but I was all right. And then I just did it today, and he recorded me. So cool. Anything else? Yeah, I'm happy with my music right now for some reason. I'm happy with the new rhythm. Confidence I have. It changes a lot. I'm happy with the chords I do play. I'm happy that I play. Can I explain that a little bit? I don't play so much bar chords and classical sounding or derived chords or country sounding chords. The two C's are the white boy music, classical and country. The JB is the jazz, and the blues is the more black music, which I like the chords too better than the white boy classical and country, the triads and the par chords, and they're just kind of bland to me. But when you get into jazz and blues chords, you know, there you get the sevenths, the dominant sevenths, even the minor sevenths and the major sevenths. You get the Hendrix chords, dominant 7, sharp 9. There's so much, you know, there's so much more there, frankly, and it sounds better. I like the sound of it. I mean, the classical is cool, like for an effect once in a while, and I can do that. Maybe it's just a show that I can. I don't know. This has its place, but I like the jazz and blues chords better. I like the seventh chords, and I show that in my latest rhythm writing, which has been I Saw Satan and Ain't No AGI. I Saw Satan was mainly seventh chords, you know, like dominant seventh, like you'd think blues and blues rock, and then actually I Ain't No AGI is actually more jazz. It's more jazz stuff. And I'm getting better at that. I'm learning. I'm doing it more. I never really did jazz that much, but I'm starting to. I like the sound of that, and I got that sound, a little bit of it today when I went by Bertrand's Music again, and I played one of the guitars I'm going to buy one of these days if I ever can. And I just started messing around with chords, and I came up with this cool thing. You guys want to hear it, or do you want me to explain it to you? Well, maybe I will. Let's just see what I can do here. Jazz is major scale music, but it's seventh chords. It's 4-note chords in major scales. That's the jazz sound. That's the jazz thing. So you have 7 notes in a major scale, and therefore you have 7 seventh chords, 7 4-note chords, and they are, if I'm in C major, those chords are F major 7th, C major 7th, G dominant 7th, D minor 7th, A minor 7th, E minor 7th, and B half diminished 7th. And that's all 7. And they're in fourths. I did those in fourths or fifths. First F major 7, C major 7, G dominant 7, D minor 7, A minor 7th, E minor 7th, and F minor 7 flat 5. That's all in fourths, but you can play with that. And you don't have to do the regular 2-5-1 like everybody tells you to do. That just makes you sound like everybody else. Don't just go C major 7th to E minor 7th to A minor 7th to D minor 7th to G 7th to C major 7th. That's what sounds like everybody else. Play around with it. If you have those same chords, try this. Try going, let's try this. A minor 7th, E minor 7th, G 7th, D minor 7th, F major 7th, C major 7th. I went in fourths, but I went 4-1 rather than 5-1. I didn't go down in fifths. I went up in I went down in fourths, which is up in fifth. I didn't go down in fifths. I went down in fourths, which is up in fifths. I went the opposite direction of most of the progressions, and rather than going downward and down backward along the circle of fifths, I went forward, but then took 3 sections of that and mixed it up. I'll explain a little bit. From when I went from A minor 7 to E minor 7, that's down a fourth. Okay, that which is against the rule that you're supposed to go up a fourth, but I screw that. A minor 7th to E minor 7th, and then go down a whole step, but play the appropriate chord. G7 to D minor 7th. That's also down a fourth rather than up a fourth. But it's a whole step down, but relative to the key. So it's G7 to D minor 7, and then down a step again, down a whole step again, but then up a fourth from F major 7th to C major 7th. So I went up in fourths I went down in fourths instead of up in fourths, and I broke it up into pieces of 2 chords each and went down whole steps, and that breaks it up. It sounds cool. As opposed to just going E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, F major 7. It's very bland. It sounds like everybody else. It sounds stupid, really. Mix it up and make it your own. Like I said, I did A minor 7 to E minor 7. That's up. That's down a fourth. Then G7 to D minor 7. That's down a fourth. And then F major 7 to C major 7, that's down a fourth. And it's the same chords, same key if you're in C, but change it up, move it around. Don't just do what the book says, and don't just do what everybody else does. Make it creative, and that's what I try to do. And I came up with that little idea at Born Tense Music today when I was jamming on one of the guitars. I just started doing that. That's a good idea, I thought. I didn't do all of it, but I started to. I did maybe a G7 to D minor 7 to F major 7 to C major 7. I might have done it in a different key though, but that's the same idea. And then, and and that's what I did in I Ain't No AGI. I did do that. I just moved it down in key wise down whole steps. So I went, you guys want to hear? I went like G dominant 7 to D minor 7 to F major 7 to B flat major 7. I think. Wait, let's try that again. Yeah, I went. Yeah, so I went G dominant 7 to D dominant to D minor 7th to F major 7th to wait. Oh, I goofed. Okay, I goofed. I get it now. I went G dominant 7 to D minor 7 to F major 7th to C major 7th. I said B flat before. I was going. That's down a fifth. I went down a fourth. So I go G dominant 7 to D minor 7 to F major 7 to C major 7th, and then I go take that same thing and go down in whole steps. So the next thing to do would be to go to do a F dominant 7 to C minor 7th to E flat major 7 to B flat major 7, and then down a fourth again. So then I'm going to go, down a whole step again. So I'm going to go B, C, D, E, E flat dominant 7 to B flat minor 7 to C sharp major 7th to G sharp major 7th. And then once more, I go C sharp dominant 7 to G sharp minor 7th to B major 7th to F sharp major 7th. I almost goofed. Yeah, so B major 7, F sharp major 7th. So now I end on F sharp major 7th, and I started the whole thing on G dominant 7th, and then it covers the whole. And then I just do that again for each set of lyrics. There's 3 different versions of it, and so I do that 3 times. Then we'll repeat it. I do it 3 more times. The whole thing gets done 6 times in the song. It's like taking a piece of instead of doing 2-5-1 or 6-2-5-1 or 3-6-2-5-1 or 7-3-6-2-5-1, which is really lame. I went basically 5-7 to 2 minor 7 to 4 major 7 to 1 major 7, and then went down in whole steps with that. So 5 to 2 to 4 to 1 sounds more unique than 6-2-5-1. So 5 to 2, 4 to 1, 5 to 2, 4 to 1, 5 to 2, 4 to 1, 5 to 2, 4 to 1. Played it 4 times, I think. 1, 2, 4 times, separated by whole steps. So from F sharp being the lowest note that I end on, lowest chord, and then C was the major 7th chord, the one chord of the first pattern. So the C starts at 1. Starts in the key of C, then B flat, then A flat, then F sharp. So F sharp, A flat, B flat, C is upward. So it makes a tritone distance of keys, starting with C, B flat, A flat, and F sharp. Yeah, I think that's cool. Works for me. And then I made lyrics to that, and then I did some other chords for the other lyrics. That those lyrics are the verses. Then I do a thing where it's the you could call it the let's see, what else did I do? Did those, and then I did. Yeah, I did something we could call. Let me think here. You could call one of them the chorus and another one of them the bridge. I don't know which is which, but they're different little patterns there with different lyrics. One part could be the verse, one part could be the bridge, but I repeat the bridge several times rather than just doing it once. So anyway, that's I am AGI, and it's learning how to use my newfound, chord expertise in my songwriting. So not just, I don't just want to be, like, I don't just like the bar chords and the major minor triads. Those are good for lead. For arpeggios, for leads, I like those. I like the major triad and the minor triad, and and all the versions of those for lead playing. I don't like the sound of playing sevenths and ninths and 11ths and 13ths in leads. In arpeggios, there's too many notes. It just sounds like scales at some point. Just play a scale then. But for chords, I like to hear the seventh chords. I like 4-note chords, but 3-note arpeggios for some reason. That's just me, I think that the 4-note chords or 7th chords sound more complete and interesting than triads do when you're playing chords. But when you're playing arpeggios, I think that the 7th chords, 4-note chords, are too messy, and I like the triads are more clean and prettier. So that's just my taste. Anyway, anything else other than I'm not going to church tomorrow? What else? Anything else here? Let's see. Yeah, I had a good walk today because I got 18 hours sleep last night, if you want to call it one night. And I just really had a lot of energy today, yesterday, because it's now the next day. But I had a good walk. I enjoyed it. I had lots of energy. So sometimes my body just takes over and I need lots of sleep. That's just what happens. And when I get lots of sleep, sometimes I feel like a tank ran over me, like I did one time when I got 24 hours straight in a row. I felt kind of overwhelmed. I felt like a tank just ran over me. But with 18 hours, I felt pretty good. So that was cool. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.